In this tab, what we're going to do is calculate out the costs of running the 12 different restaurants that are vying for a space in the food court for our food court project. And what we're going to notice up the top of the screen is going to be what's called the cost data. And the cost data will be listed in 12 different restaurants and the item that's being offered by the restaurant for the high school to consider. And it's going to have a total of two different costs. One cost is going to be the variable cost, and the other one is going to be a fixed cost. So here's what they're about. A fixed cost is no matter what, the price is always going to stay the same, whether I sell one meal or a million meals. And a lot of times when we look at a fixed cost, it's going to be like maybe the rent for the building or the rent for the equipment. Basically, no matter what, we'll be spending the same amount of money. The second kind of cost is a variable cost. And the variable costs tend to include things that would be like the workers, the ingredients, and the things that can change from time to time. So for instance, maybe if I'm working overtime, I'm going to be having more and more materials being brought into my factory, which would be a variable cost. I'm going to have more people working, which then would be getting perhaps overtime, which would be a variable cost. And also maybe things like electricity or water. If I'm using more of it, I'm going to have a higher bill at the end of the month too. So those would be variable costs as well. And what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and calculate out the variable costs and the fixed costs for our restaurants. So what I'd like you to do is go ahead and click on the first yellow box, and we'll type in a formula. For a variable cost, they need to include a total of your labor plus your ingredients. To start a formula, you'll type in equals, click on the labor, and add the ingredients. Hit enter, and you're going to see now that for every meal that Taco Villa produces, it's going to be costing them 40 cents to produce it. And if you scroll on over and get that little box, you'll be able to copy formulas over. You can go ahead and just do the same thing for the rest of these variable costs for your restaurants, and that's how you do the variable cost. For the fixed cost, same deal. It's going to be equals your rental plus your equipment. And you'll see that you have a cost here. You'll go ahead and again highlight the cell. You get the little blue box in the corner. You can drag it along. You are going to notice that there's one restaurant that looks very unique, and that's going to be the Home Ec Kitchen. And you're going to notice here that Home Ec has zero cost for stall and rental. Keep in mind that this is going to be because this is a school function or this is a school program that's being set up. And the school program can use school facilities for free compared to the other places which are not school entities and they have to pay a rent for it. So keep that in mind when you're looking at your costs. You're going to see that you're going to have pretty much no fixed cost for the Home Ec Kitchen, and you see lower prices as well. I think things like canned meat and potatoes. And obviously that's 2.5 cents worth of deliciousness. So that is how you would go ahead and calculate out your costs of your variable and your fixed. Make sure you copy it on over to all of the yellow boxes, and then you'll be set.